So today we're going to be taking a look at the Emperor's Royal Guard for the TBC/Black Series line. And this is another one of the great highlights of the vintage collection to date. So it's had 3 releases since 2012 when the original was released, and these are all 3 of the versions right here. Mostly they're the same exact action figure. There are some slight differences between all 3, which I'll point out here in a bit. But anyways, we'll take a look at the package first. I don't have the Black Series package or the original TBC card anymore, unfortunately. I actually threw that card out years ago, unfortunately. But I do have the re-release card right here to show you. Fortunately, mine's a little torn up a little bit, but that's okay. It's a very nice image of the Royal Guard there. This was VC 105. And I have that Boba Fett reviewed on my channel. I'll get to Endor Han, Akbar, the Hoth Luke, and the Bespin Escape Leia eventually. Don't have those 2. Might not ever get them. So that's the package. One thing I'll know about the package is it's not the same exact card from the original Return of the Jedi line. It's obviously this one's in the hangar of the Death Star 2, while the original card was featured more in the Emperor's Throne Room, I think. Hopefully that release gets sees the light of day again. Who knows at this point. This is about as good the Emperor's Royal Guard can get. So we'll take a look at the original release first. So this was a very hard action figure to get for many years. At least in the US, it was an online exclusive, and it was in short quantity. So unfortunately, most Americans weren't able to get a hold of this action figure. I managed to find this around 2016 actually, and found it for a good price. And of course at that time I didn't know that we were going to be getting re-releases of these eventually, so I jumped on this and went ahead and got it. It's a very striking scarlet red color. So about the only difference between the original release and then these 2 is mostly just his robes. These are much thicker robes. They feel more like felt actually than they do cloth. And it's nice in its own way. It makes the action figure look a little more bulky, and unfortunately his helmet doesn't stay on very well. Then this one here is the Black Series release, which was towards the end of 2016. It's very exciting to get this at the time. Everybody was jumping all over this one. Down the road though, within the next year or so, it was actually readily available at retail. Who would have known back in 2012 that eventually you'd be able to find this at retail, no problem. At least for me, every time I went to Walmart, they always had these in stock once they made their way around. And like I said, the robes, they're a lot thinner, softer. Have a little bit more of a natural flow compared to the original TVC release. And his helmet fits on a lot better. Doesn't have the photoreal yet. I'll go into the head a little bit more here in a second. Then here's the recent TVC release, or re-release, which again uses the softer robes, but instead this one utilizes the photoreal tech. All 3 are great in their own way. I suppose whichever one you get is your personal preference. This one's probably the easiest one to get hold of for the time being. Recently though, at the time of this video, Hasbro has discontinued this action figure, unfortunately, so If you've been looking to get this one and you have not already, now's the time to get it before it gets extremely expensive. But anyway, like I said, or like you've seen now, they both have removable helmets. I'll show you what the two of them look side by side. The Black Series one utilizes the same as the original TVC release. From my understanding, this is supposed to be based on Kirk Hano's appearance from the Crimson Empire comic. And Kirk Hanos does have an action figure as well. At least a younger appearance of him. And the photoreal turned out really nice on this. I have no complaints. I suppose I'll show you the articulation real quick. So he does have the ball joint at the head there. If he has his helmet on, obviously you can't really get a whole lot out of it, but it's okay when he's standing like that. You probably want him looking straight mostly anyway. And he does have hinged shoulders, which can be kind of stiff here. Let's see, yeah. Be careful, a lot of times they can break. Especially with the Black Series release, I had a very hard time trying to get his arms to articulate for a long period of time. Hinged elbows as well. Swivel wrists. Almost like the ratchet joints in a way. Then he has a swivel waist, then swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. Show you what he looks like. You can take his robes off. Which has a unique feature about it, which I'll show you here in a second. So in terms of accessories, he's very accessory heavy. Well, probably one of the heaviest accessories for action figures in TVC to date. So he does come with his traditional staff that we see in the movies. Unfortunately, a lot of times they're flimsy and they bend real easy. Most of the samples I have are like this. And there's not really a way he can grip it so well where he holds it like what you see in the movies. Probably about the best way you can do it is if you rotate his hand upside down like that and do something like that. He also comes with the pistol that we've been getting for years now with most of the, but for most clone action figures, the Senate Guards, some of the other Royal Guards we've gotten over the years. And he does have a holster for that. It fits very well. And something else very unique that he comes with is kind of some EU accessories. And that's his training armor here, which is based upon the Crimson Empire comic. So he comes with this extra staff here, which I have on the original TVC release here. Very nice accessory. And then he comes with this training helmet, which has the Imperial logo on it. You can see there. It's kind of thin there. And then he comes with this extra shoulder armor, which fits very well. Then he also has the Imperial logos on his shoulders there and on his back, which looks really nice. Glad that Hasbro decided to include these. It's nice to, I have like 6 of these at this point, and it's nice to display a few of them like this. And he also has this comma here as well. It's a very nice red, very striking. And the helmet fits pretty well. If you position it just right, you can get it where it looks very natural. It's not going to be like his eyes are doing stuff like that, or the helmet just doesn't fit right, but this fits really good. But other than that, that's really all there is to say about this action figure. Like I said, it's one of the highlights of the vintage collection, I think. It's one of my favorite action figures that came out of the TVC to date. It is in one of my top 10. It's really hard to say. I do have a top 10 video on my channel, but it's so hard to pick 10 specific action figures. There's so many factors that go into it. But this is definitely a great action figure to have for your collection, and it's nice if you can get a whole bunch of them, but even if you can just afford one, it's great to have. There are some other great Royal Guards that you can get from the various action figures lines over the last 20 years, which are much more affordable and, in my opinion, close to being about as good as this. But this is definitely the definitive action figure, and if you have the money and you're willing to invest in it, I would highly recommend having at least one of these for your collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. There's going to be plenty more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching.